Right now at 6, encounters with federal agents caught on camera.
If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE.
Why some are saying immigration enforcement has gone too far.
Plus, disturbing allegations against a local high school custodian allegedly caught with explicit images of children.
Then, new life for a low-income housing complex that residents fought to save.
We picketed. We wrote letters. We made noise, lots of noise.
And later, how drones, seeds, and science are bringing charred landscapes of the Northwest back to life.
It's cost effective, and we're doing a good job, and we're not even stomping on the soil.
Good evening, and first at 6, a couple of key updates when it comes to immigration enforcement and National Guard troops. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. Let's get you caught up as we await a ruling from the 9th Circuit on whether the president can deploy troops to Portland today. The 7th Circuit ruled in a case centered in Chicago. The appeals court agreeing with a federal judge that the facts on the ground do not constitute a rebellion, and so they will let the restraining order stand.
And now Oregon is citing that very ruling in its own case, asking the 9th Circuit to take it into consideration. This comes, by the way, as new videos surface locally that appear to show federal agents taking people into custody, with, in one case, people pushing back by using their vehicles to box in the agents. Tonight we have live TV coverage. Celine Stevens has taken a closer look at those videos.
But first to our Kyle Aboshi with more on that ruling today from the 7th Circuit. Kyle.
So here's where things stand. You'll remember last week attorneys for the state of Oregon argued before the 9th Circuit over whether President Trump can deploy National Guard troops in Portland. We're still waiting on a ruling. But in a new court filing just this afternoon, Oregon's lawyers point to a decision out of Illinois where a similar case played out. Just today, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lower court's order blocking the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to Chicago. The judges in that case said the president's actions weren't justified. Oregon's lawyers said that ruling is, quote, new and pertinent legal authority and should be considered before the 9th Circuit makes its decision.
Well, Kyle, I'm really curious, how did they get such a quick ruling in the 7th Circuit while we are a week in, I think, and still waiting here?
So the process was a little bit different here. In our case, lawyers from Oregon and the Trump administration presented oral arguments in a hearing last week. The Illinois case didn't have oral arguments. Instead, the 3-judge panel relied on written briefs to make its decision. Again, for now, no word on when we'll get that ruling from the 9th Circuit.
Appreciate your continued reporting on this. Thank you, Kyle. Well, let's talk about the videos surfacing on social media. One shows drivers who apparently boxed in federal agents in Hillsborough this week.
And in another video, a woman recorded what appeared to be federal agents detaining a man in Northwest Portland. Let's go right to Celine Stevens live on Northwest NATO with the details. Celine?
David, Christine, so that man was detained here on NATO Parkway, and he's being held at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma, but his attorney says he entered the country legally. Now, the woman that filmed that detainment says she did so because she was afraid that no one would ever know what happened to that man.
It was jarring to see it in my own neighborhood, and I felt like it needed to be documented.
This is video captured Tuesday morning around 8 in Northwest Portland along NATO Parkway of a man appearing to be detained by federal agents. That's when Gina Gladstone says she noticed multiple cars and agents surrounding this Toyota.
It didn't look like the Portland police. They had the tactical vests, one said DHS, maybe federal police. I started videotaping, and 2 of the officers who didn't have their faces covered immediately covered their faces.
She described it all as frightening.
I was afraid that nobody would know what happened to this person. He didn't resist. It was a young man. He looked bewildered. He looked frightened.
According to the law firm who says they are representing the man, they say they, quote, can confirm that my client entered the United States legally. However, we currently do not have complete information regarding his subsequent status and proceedings.
We can play. My car's bigger than yours.
Less than 2 hours later, another incident was being filmed in Hillsborough, this time with drivers boxing in federal agents with their cars.
If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE.
Kylie Delgado says she got an alert from a community group she's in, warning that federal agents were outside a nearby apartment, so she went to check it out.
When I pulled up, they refused to identify themselves. And then once they did, they said that they were Hillsborough Police Department, but didn't have proper identification.
She said federal agents said they had a warrant but didn't show it. Hillsborough police confirmed their officers were not involved in the incident. KGW reached out to ICE for comment, but they referred to U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
You're not going anywhere.
Delgado explaining the reason for her actions, saying she sees an abuse of power and wanted to ensure the safety of the neighborhood, wanting people to know about resources available to them like the Portland Immigrant Rights Coalition.
They don't belong here in our streets. Our electeds have said as much, our neighbors have said as much, and we want them to leave.
Now, when asked about both of those videos that we just showed you, ICE advised that we reach out to Border and Customs Protection. However, they said that they were still waiting on a response from them. Now, as for the man that was detained here in Northwest Portland, his attorney said the soonest that he's going to be allowed to be able to see his client will be on Saturday. Back to you.
No, Celine Stevens there. Celine, appreciate your reporting tonight. Meanwhile, Portland City Council has approved 2 measures it says will protect residents from immigration officers and push back on the Trump administration.
First, the Protect Portland initiative denounces President Trump's attempts to deploy federal troops and directs the city to come up with a framework to help Portlanders. The second codifies Portland as a sanctuary city. Stephanie Domerat spoke with the council president on Straight Talk about what she's seeing in her district.
We had expected, as more federal agents have been coming into our city, that this would happen eventually, but it's really been within this last week that I have been hearing more from community about seeing enforcement officers in community, seeing more people being detained.
They also talked about the city's plan to track federal officers. You can watch the full interview with the council president and Councilor Candace Avalos on Straight Talk this weekend, Monday at 7 or anytime on our free TV app, KGW+.
And stay with KGW for continuing coverage of the latest developments when it comes to the National Guard in Portland. Look for updates anytime at KGW.com, on our mobile app, or on KGW+.
In your headlines, a Camas school custodian is on paid leave tonight, accused of possessing child sex abuse images. The district said a custodian was arrested but would not confirm his name. But a man named Jordan Palomino, which matches the name of a custodian on the Camas High School's website, made his first court appearance today. He's being charged with a single count of possessing depictions of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct. The state says he admitted to making those purchases, but claimed he did not view them. His attorney asked the judge to release him because they argued the offense wasn't violent. The judge disagreed.
Here, although there's no, in the sense that the defendant has committed violence against a named individual, I will share that the court's view is that the act of possession of depictions of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct is in and of itself a violent offense because of the harm done to not only those minors depicted in those images, but to minors everywhere.
Palomino's bail was set at $25,000. The district says he's currently on paid administrative leave and will not have access to school buildings.
In Longview, police say 11 kids and teens have been charged with vandalism at an elementary school and a golf course. These are photos of the damage at Mint Valley Golf Course in June. Police say 4 teens ages 15 and 16 caused tens of thousands of dollars in damage. They're accused of stealing at least 9 golf carts and taking them on joy rides. Authorities allege the same 4 teens, along with 7 other kids as young as 12, broke into Mint Valley Elementary the night before. Officers say the teens damaged computers, discharged fire extinguishers, and stole food.
The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is warning people about what they're calling smishing text scams. It's where scammers send fake messages to trick people into sharing personal information or clicking malicious links. They often look harmless, maybe a package alert or a simple question, but responding can confirm your number is active. Experts say the best move here: do not reply to unknown texts, block suspicious numbers, and never share personal or financial information.
And a low-income housing complex in Washington County is now getting a long-awaited revamp. The Wood Spring Apartments in Tigard will undergo renovations to modernize its 172 units. The project will include new roofs, siding, windows, and appliances, as well as making units more accessible and energy efficient. The county stepped in to buy the property in 2023 after its low-income housing agreement expired and after residents rallied, lobbying the building's owners, the county, and the state for help.
This purchase enables me and many others like me to remain living independently in a safe and desirable environment that we can afford.
Good to have a good news story, right? Renovations are expected to be completed by December of next year. Matt?
All right, David, thank you very much. Another fantastic sunset underway around much of the state, but especially up in the Cascades. Look at Timberline right now. Just fantastic. Looking south of Mount Jefferson, we had a great sunset there last night. Happening again now. 50 degrees up at 6,000 feet, so it's warmed up substantially from where we were over the last couple of days. But we got a cool down coming our way as we go into not tomorrow, not Saturday, but Sunday. Now, clouds are increasing right now as a weak weather system is moving inland, right? We'll have those clouds in the morning, then they will clear. On Saturday, the process is reversed. We start out clear, we end up cloudy. As a stronger system comes in, that's what brings us the rain on Sunday, which will fairly quickly transition to scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. But by far, Saturday will be the better of the 2 weekend days, so plan accordingly for your weekend outdoor activities especially. 61 degrees in Portland right now, and we've got plenty of 60s in the 7-day forecast, including one day that's warmer than all the rest. And we'll take a look ahead towards the end of next week when it may get a little stormier. Guys?
Typical fall weather. Thank you so
is.
much, Matt. Well, yeah, we know it's October. It means the Halloween season is here, which also means it's time for the squishing of the squash.
I feel like this calls for pie to celebrate, right? Today, the Oregon Zoo elephants got to demolish some of the largest pumpkins around and enjoy the pulp, seeds, and everything else. As zoo staff put it, first they squashed them, then they noshed them this year. Larry Nelson from Pacific Giant Vegetable Growers Club helped provide the pumpkins.
For me, it's more just getting my whole family together. There was probably 25 of us that all got together, and we'll spend the day at the zoo. And I love elephants. You know, I mean, who doesn't love elephants?
Totally. Who doesn't love elephants? One of the zoo's brightest, newest stars, we all know, right? Tula 2 did not participate. Only 8 months old, and it turns out the pumpkins, which weigh up to 1,000 pounds, are just too big for her. But she did enjoy a smaller one, all on her own behind closed doors. The squishing of the squash, by the way, has been a zoo tradition since 1999.
Glad to see those happy elephants.